Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
You know the website Rotten Tomatoes?
The site that aggregates critical opinions of movies to calculate the percentage of positive reviews, thereby giving us a broad indication of whether the movie is good or not.
That's the one. Why don't we watch one movie from each percentage point, going from worst to best, and see if we agree with the score? That would be fun, right? Right? Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of something that will most likely drive me to the brink of insanity, wreck my marriage, but most importantly, entertain you guys in the process. 101 movies, each one technically being better than the last. My friends, I think this is going to be good. So here's how it's going to play out. We will start off by mercilessly ripping apart the worst movies ever committed to celluloid, before eventually moving on to the best movies of all time and discussing whether or not they deserve to be heralded as such. But Zeke, what about the stinky middle part, you're thinking? Isn't that going to get a little mediocre? Nope, because that's the point at which everyone involved in the movie marathon, me, my wife, you guys watching, will get all divided. I can guarantee that there's going to be some movies in this zone that some people love and other people hate. And by some people, I mainly mean Julia, and by other people, I mean me. But we can argue about who's right when the time comes. And by who, I mean me. I'm right. But I must stress that this is a pilot episode. We will only commit to this if this video does well. And if it does do well, we're going to go hard. But it is a lot of work, and I'm very keen to only do the stuff that I both enjoy and you guys like to watch. So if you want to see more, you know what to do. Thumbs up, share it about, spread it like herpes. Otherwise, if you don't like it, go back to watching Watch Mojo listicles. Anyway, enough waffle. Let's do this. I think this is the start of something awesome. And, somewhat ironically, it starts off with something that isn't awesome. It's time to watch. Okay, first up we'll cover the plot of the movie, and I'll try not to reveal my opinion until afterwards. And so the film begins, which is a shame, and we're introduced to Bastian.
Bastian.
Sounds like you said bastard.
Bastard is a shy, book-loving kid who has got the uncanny ability to change actors in between movies. He's also afraid of heights, which manifests itself when he tries out for the green screen swim team. I'm sure this won't come up again. Disheartened, he returns home at, midnight for some reason, and, there's some conflict with the dad.
How long is it? We've got to sit for another
hour and a half. It's common courtesy, Bastard. Something you ought to learn, by the way. Look at that old rag you're wearing. I like it. Well, I don't. Mom made it.
Ooh, ominous.
Bastian's dad then storms off and leaves his 12-year-old kid at home alone for the evening. Why not? Bastian uses this opportunity to make sure the audience knows that his mum is dead, despite the fact that we did just address this 20 seconds beforehand.
Let's just drill the point home a bit more. Picture of mum.
The next day, Bastian heads down to the bookstore, run by old crotchety Mr. Coriander, and asks him if he's got anything to help with his diving problem. Maybe don't force the idea of trying to join the dive team if you've got a crippling fear of heights, you muppet, is not what Mr. Coriander says, but he does impart some wisdom about books when Bastian rediscovers the Neverending Story.
That book asks too much of you.
But it's the Neverending Story. I've already read it.
Ah, you've ever read a book twice? Books
Yes.
change.
No, they don't.
Give it back.
Bastian snatches the book from Mr. Coriander and runs home with it. And then he does a thing with the medallion. There's a medallion on the front of... Oh God, we're only 15 minutes into this.
But that sucks if you fall asleep at 10 past 11. That means I've got to go for another 40 minutes on my own. It's going to be torture. Why do you get out of this that easy?
Because I'm really bad at staying awake during films.
Not only that, we've got like 60 more movies to watch before we get to stuff that's mediocre. Not even good, just mediocre.
The childlike Empress calls out to Bastian through the book. She needs his help, once again. And Bastian finds himself transported to the land he recognises as...
Fantasia.
Which is bloody weird, because it doesn't look anything like the Fantasia from the first movie.
So was it on water before?
What, the boat?
Like
The city?
yeah.
I don't know, I think it's the first time he's been in this city. I don't think it comes up in the first movie.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't come up in the first movie. I've seen it, and I don't recall it being in there.
But someone is watching Bastian. And that someone is an evil queen who doesn't seem to have a face, but then she uses some awesome oil of Olay stuff, and then she does have a face, and that face is hot. But this isn't important. What is important is the plot. And boy, is this asshole going to explain it to you at length.
Oh yes, explain it! Every time the Earthling uses Orin to make a wish, my new invention makes him lose a memory. With each wish, the liquid in his head forms a memory ball. It falls...
To cut a long story short, the evil queen wants Bastian to lose all memory of why he's in Fantasia or what he's doing. It's a mystery as to why the queen wants this, but let's just run with it. She sends her bird thing off. I can't remember his name. We'll just call him Fluffnuts. She sends Fluffnuts off to try and convince Bastian to use the Orin medallion to wish for things. But unbeknownst to Bastian, every time he does, he loses a memory through mechanisms that aren't clear and for reasons that aren't explained. However, Fluffnuts is not very successful.
Too bad there's only one of these things around. You want something? You wish it? Orin makes it happen. You're very lucky. Come on. Try it out. Start with a lake. Make it purple. Add some sugar. Raise the temperature so everybody can go for a swim.
I wouldn't want to change anything. It's so pretty.
Come on. Make a wish.
But oh no, these things turn up in the city. And oh god, this is so crap. They look like Lady Gaga.
You're a bird! Come and get me and fly!
No, what he's saying.
That was the most ineffectual henchman I've ever seen. That was so useless. That's what I thought.
Safely out of perilous danger from the least mobile, least armed enemies ever seen on film, Bastian finds himself on a strange ship.
You have come to the ship of secret plots.
Mate, any plot would do at this point. Secret or otherwise.
Please tell me what's going on. Are you hurt?
Please, tell us what's going on.
The childlike Empress telepathically tells Bastian... Telepathy is a thing in this movie, apparently. She telepathically tells Bastian that the emptiness is destroying Fantasia and he must identify what it is in order to stop it. Then Atreyu from the first movie also a different actor, inexplicably turns up and they agree to go on a quest to save the childlike Empress. But, back in New York, Bastian's father is worried about the disappearance of his son, as well as the arrival of this weird book.
Oh, is he going to come in? That would be a twist to the tale.
It would. That would be different.
You know what? Balls to that dry fart of a subplot. Let's get back to the wet one. So this is where Bastian uses his first wish. They need to go to somewhere, I'm not overly sure where, but they need a mode of transport to get there.
I need something that can fly.
Wings, you idiot.
Living in that castle.
But rather than wishing for wings, or just wishing to be at the place that they want to go to, wherever that may be, Bastian decides to wish for a dragon.
Very sensible. I'll wish for the most horrible flying dragon in the history of Fantasia.
Okay, that's one way of doing it.
He even wastes additional wishes by using one wish per attribute in summoning the dragon.
I wish him to be red. No, green. I wish him to fly as fast as the Concorde and stink so bad that he makes you sick. Breathes fire.
And one of those attributes is that the dragon is hostile to them. How is that helpful? Does this kid even care about Fantasia? I don't.
I'll call him Smurg.
It's what? Slug.
The dragon flies away, and Falcor, from the first movie, a different dragon actor, shows up to help out. The old gang is back together!
Chase? Did somebody say chase?
Ooh, they decide to give chase and stop the dragon from... I don't bloody know. It's just a nice distraction, isn't it? From their time-sensitive, pressing objective. Full screen time.
Why are they chasing it?
So it doesn't do any damage. Why didn't he just ask for Falcor?
I don't know. Or if he waited 2 minutes, Falcor would have turned up. Or he doesn't believe there's any penalty to using wishes. Why doesn't he just wish the dragon away?
So none of that made any sense. He should have just summoned Falcor in the first place, instead of an unusable dragon. Especially given that I think of it, Falcor's role in the first movie was literally to transport him wherever he wanted to go. Anyway, the evil dragon gets killed by an evil laser which is fired out of the evil hand castle, which is where the evil queen resides.
Smurg got zapped!
Childlike Empress, soon your slick little castle will be as dark as mine.
Was that telepathy? Or was she just talking to herself? Monologuing.
Was that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'd been drinking heavily.
I think we did watch it together.
I don't think that's what it was. Spirited Away.
Princess Mononoke.
Oh no, it's that one. It's Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke.
Back in the real world, Bastian's dad is going out of his mind with worry and has contacted the police.
Is that also his mum?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably. What do you reckon the bird's gonna...
Oh, he'll swap sides.
He'll swap sides. After there's a moment where they realise that their trust has been breached, kind of thing.
The authorities don't prove to be much good, but he puts 2 and 2 together and connects Bastian's disappearance to the Neverending Story. So he heads down to the bookstore and speaks to old Mr. Coriander, who calmly informs him that his son is in the book, or something.
Maybe you'll find the explanation for your son's disappearance inside.
Okay, sir, I will take your cryptic words, despite the fact that my son has gone missing.
That's enough of that bullshit. So back in Fantasia, the team have concocted a master plan.
So that's the plan.
3 arrows, that's the plan. Nailed it.
So Atreyu and Bastian decide to go to the evil castle that looks like a hand. Again, Christ knows for what reason. That's just, they're going there. Our heroes get attacked by more of these things that look suspiciously like Lady Gaga costumes. And Atreyu distracts them with firework toy things. Again, I don't know why. Things just happen in this movie for no reason.
Now's your chance. Go. What about them? It's a good day to die. Please don't say that. Give me 5. 5 what? Forget it. I'll see you inside.
Who wrote this?
Karen Howard wrote this script. She wrote 14 drafts. 14 drafts went before they came up and settled on this crock of shit. Bastian makes some more wishes.
I wish for another one. And another.
Why wouldn't you just say, I wish for all of the steps
I
to
know,
be there?
he is really inefficient at wishing for stuff. Well, let's see, he started off by, he wished for a mode of transport to get somewhere. Wished to be at the place. And then you wouldn't have to do all this bullshit climbing up a bloody finger.
Why is he climbing up?
I don't know, that's the thing, I don't even know why he's going in there. He was on his way to the ivory tower, wasn't he?
Oh, is this the Eiffel Tower?
No, this is the bloody hand. That's where the Empress, his mum, is.
Atreyu is captured by the Gargars, who tie him up and hang him over a pit, which seems awfully elaborate, given that they then decide to kill him.
Why are they well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
They attack the chain with their weak-ass mini angle grinders, as opposed to cutting up the kids themselves, which is good, I suppose, isn't it? That's good.
Don't take it off.
Yeah, well, yeah, weapon.
Oh, yeah.
You can smack that guy. Or just tie him up with a chain. They're the least intimidating baddies I've seen in a long time.
Atreyu and Bastian then defeat the Gargars using exceptionally primitive tactics.
We need weapons. I wish for a spray can. Spray can? That's a weapon?
Oh my god, this kid.
And Bastian continues to use wishes all willy-nilly as they continue through the castle on the way to confront the evil queen.
I wish for the doors to open.
He didn't even try and open them. He's getting complacent with his wishing. I wish this kettle would boil faster. Oh no, wait, I wish I just had a cup of coffee.
After a lot of faffing around, they finally confront the evil queen, who instantly submits and tells them she'll take them directly to the ivory tower. In the meantime, back in the real world...
Oh god, we still got this subplot going on, I forgot about that.
And let's carry on forgetting about that. The next part of the movie covers the journey to the ivory tower, and it is so long and tedious that... Oh, hang on. It's like a never-ending story. I had to crowbar that joke in there at least once during this video.
What are you doing? You're not playing a game on your iPad, are you?
No, I'm watching
You've got
YouTube.
No, don't watch YouTube. You've got to watch this. This is a punishment that's befallen both of us.
Why?
I can't carry this burden alone.
Oh, surprise, surprise! The evil queen gets all manipulative over Bastian and showers him with kindness and gifts.
Has he just been given one ring to rule them all?
Basically, there was a dragon called Smurg. There is a belt that makes him invisible. They've basically just ripped off J.R.R. Tolkien.
And eventually the evil Hot Queen's machinations come good, and the two get into fisticuffs over the Orin medallion.
Give me Orin. She wants me to have it. You understand nothing. Why don't you just go back and play with your buffaloes? Country boy.
It's mine.
Why don't you go back and play
My
hero
precious.
in your own world, Earthling?
Surprise twist! The film finally has some courage behind its convictions and kills Atreyu.
That's the first time I've cared about a character.
Yeah, this is getting good.
Well.
Falkor carries Atreyu's body off to a different location, and Bastian learns about the nature of his frivolous wishing. He's only got 2 wishes left, and if he uses them, he'll forget about his mother and father. And guess what else happens? Fluffnuts has a change of heart and helps Bastian escape from the evil queen, so he rides off to Falkor.
My son on a horse? He can't ride a horse.
In deep regret, he uses one of his remaining wishes to bring Atreyu back to life.
Nothing more in the world than for you to live, Atreyu.
Which must have been quite a shock for the lifeless corpse who had just had all of his bones broken in a cliff fall. Can you imagine that? Anyway, their friendship may be mended, but their mission is all but lost as Fantasia begins to fall apart. The evil queen appears and gloats that Bastian only has 1 wish left and that he should use it to simply go back home and leave Fantasia to her. But the childlike empress telepathically reminds him that wouldn't be good.
Go home.
How can he still remember the childlike empress? He's got no memory.
I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Use your spray can, dickhead.
Not willing to leave Fantasia in a state of peril, Bastian selflessly uses his final wish for something altogether unexpected. He wishes the evil queen had a heart.
How the fiddlesticks did he know that was going to work?
I don't know.
So that wasn't his mum then. And then the movie thankfully draws to a close after a runtime of approximately 17 years. It feels like it was... Oh no, I've already used that one. Bastian finally returns to his world by drawing from the courage he's learned throughout the adventure to jump into this waterfall. Yeah, they ticked that box off. As a result, Bastian dies. Not really, although they never actually explain what happened to all the memories that he lost during the movie, so in my mind he went off to live a vacant life, drooling into his chest in a nursing home somewhere. But the film itself suggests he went on to reunite with his dopey father. All's well, and the credits roll.
Harold Kitchener! Sir, I will work on this film, but I demand that my name is in 18-point font.
That's weird.
And so, we come down to brass tacks. Was this movie, the first stop on our Rotten Tomatoes movie marathon, worthy of its Rotten Tomatoes score of 0%? What I will say is... Guys, I don't know who this movie is for. Do you know what I mean? It's It's too childish for any adult to enjoy, but paradoxically it's also not childish enough for kids to enjoy. It sits in this weird middle zone of utter tedium. You just saw the condensed version. I'm sure you guys were bored to tears. It's not even for purists. Like, I'm a die-hard fan of the original Michael Ender book, and I can say that it doesn't even do that side of things justice either. Ender himself actually tried to halt the production of this movie because he despised the first one. But, well, don't sell your rights to some hack producer in Hollywood if you hate seeing your work interpreted to film that much.
No.
Hey, Alan Moore. But, despite all of this, I don't think the Neverending Story Part 2 is a 0%er. 0%er. I did just say placenta. Oh god. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is about 40%, which is remarkably high for a 0% movie, so it clearly has some fans. Presumably they're all in some kind of daycare centre and not allowed sharp objects, but fans nonetheless. And there are shreds of redemption here, besides the dad who drives me up the wall.
My son, a horse? He can't ride a horse.
The acting isn't too bad, given what they had to work with. The evil queen is seductive, the kids hold their own, and Fluffnuts was okay. He really threw himself into it. He acted like a bird. For a special effects driven movie, the effects are terrible, but not always.
That's one of the best effects we've seen so far.
Oh, I missed it.
Because you were looking at your phone,
Yeah.
trying to get entertainment from other sources. You cheater!
It's so boring.
So, ultimately it's not a bad movie like M. Night Shyamalan or You Ball. It's just really, really boring. There is zero tone to the movie. The characters just meander around. I don't know what the stakes are. I don't know what anyone's trying to achieve or why, and even less about what will happen if they fail. It just plods from event to event with some kind of weird, grim determination. You can practically hear the entire crew breathe a sigh of relief the second the credits roll. Oh yeah, another point of note, it is mainly a German production, which I guess goes back to the grim determination thing. Let's just work hard and get this movie in the can so we can all go back home and eat sauerkraut and wait for death. There's also no rhyme nor reason to any of the things that happen in the Neverending Story Part 2. It's just stuff. There aren't any rules. Like, there's loads of instances where the screenwriter couldn't figure out how to get two characters in the same place, so they just inexplicably communicate through telepathy. Why? There's even a scene where the evil hot queen magically zaps Bastian with sexy hot evil magic, despite the fact that there's, what, hundreds of miles between them? Thousands? How big is Fantasia? Christ knows. And this is the other problem. The sense of geography is completely absent in this movie. It was a slight problem in the first movie, admittedly, but it's even worse in this one. Oh, why am I trying to analyse it to this level? It's the same plot as the first movie, except this time with zero budget and -10 emotion. The funny thing is, I had to go off and watch the third Neverending Story movie. Yes, there was a third one. And it had Jack Black in it.
What's up, little homie?
I can't do it on this show because it doesn't even have a Rotten Tomatoes score, but it's widely regarded as being way worse than even this movie. But oddly enough, I preferred it. Like, that one was so bafflingly bad that it truly deserved 0%. This one, it's just as dull as dishwater. If it was up to me, and surprisingly it isn't, I would have put this one around the 3 to 5% mark on Rotten Tomatoes on a good day. So, there we go. But lastly, to end on something of a sad note, I would like us all to pay homage to Jonathan Brandis, the actor who played Bastian in this movie. He is dead. Brandis killed himself in 2003 and didn't leave a suicide note. Paul Peterson, a former child actor and president of A Minor Consideration, an organisation that deals with issues affecting child actors, stated, "Speculations as to the underlying cause of this tragedy are exactly that, speculations. It serves no purpose to leap to conclusions, for none of us will really know what led Jonathan to his decision to take his life."
Give me 5. 5 what? Forget it. I'll see you inside.
What? No, I'm not. No, look, all I'm saying is if I was in this movie, you know, I'd probably... So there we go, the first episode in the Rotten Tomatoes movie marathon. I guess this would be the point where I'd read out comments from you guys, but it's the first episode. We're dry. There is, however, a link down in the description box which will take you to all of the 1% movies on Rotten Tomatoes. Surprisingly, there's only 5 of them. So check those out and let us know down in the comments which one you would like us to... well, which one you want to torture us with next time, I guess. In fact, you can suggest any movie you feel that we should definitely watch at some point during the movie marathon. Just remember to put the Rotten Tomatoes score with your comment, and I'll potentially add it to the list. I have to stress, however, that this is only something we're going to do if this video does well. Julia and I are going to carry on doing the movie marathon, but I'm sure you'll understand it's a huge commitment to record and produce it for YouTube. So if you want this to happen, and I sincerely hope you do, then please let us know in the comments below and by giving us a thumbs up. I increasingly find myself at the mercy of YouTube's algorithm at the moment. If they deign to put one of my videos in the search suggestion box for people, it'll get thousands of views. If not, it'll only get served to a small handful of you. So join me in giving YouTube the middle finger. Let's do this ourselves, guys. Get those views up by sharing this video wherever you can. Cannot stress this enough. This will be the first and last episode of this series, unless I get the indication that people want it enough. We actually did this one over a year ago, and all of the B-roll footage was recorded just on an iPad microphone, so I'm aware that the audio quality wasn't stellar on this one, but you can bet your bottom dollar that if we go ahead, I will improve that for future episodes. I look forward to using this as an opportunity to force Julia into finally watching Aliens with me. Not many episodes to go. Help a brother out. Guys, I cannot wait to see what you got on this one. If we do go ahead, this is the point at which I'll be reading your comments, so keep those rolling in, and definitely let me know what you think of the cinematic abortion that was the Neverending Story Part 2. I love you all, you're brilliant. Extra special thanks to the Patreon crew, including newcomer Kagachi, for their patience and for helping me out with this one. Oh look, here they are! Stick to the end for an outtake!
Living inside this dream, there's so much that's unexplained. Somehow we find a way to start the journey once again. Drifting inside our dreams, there's a never-ending story inside our hearts now. For a better world, where the chance of it all is the hope for a better day.
Falcor carries Atreyu's body off Falcor carries Atreyu's body. Falcor takes a but. Falcor carries Atreyu's bodies off. Falcor takes Atreyu. I'm gonna kill myself.